Okay, we'll get started. It's 1 o'clock. I like starting these things sharply at 1 ET. I'm Aram, Fuchs, the owner of Buzztime and the parent egames.com. And I have these Ask Me Anythings, AMAs, roughly once a month to give you an update. And so there are, and most of this is to our customers and to the people who want to be customers, and then to our loyal players. But almost everything I talk about will be aimed towards our customers because they're the ones that keep the lights on, of course. But indirectly, the players keep the lights on because they eat and drink at our customers. And they are obsessed with Buzztime to the point where they have great constructive criticisms. So here's what I want to talk about. I went to the bar and restaurant show as well as the amusement expo in Las Vegas the week before last, and it was quite productive. Here's what the people loved. They loved our new feature that we're rolling out called Buzztime Bar Hero. This will give, it's our first integration with the point of sale system. So this will give every winner of a Buzztime trivia game to start and expand from there, a spin at a roulette wheel, and the landing spots are controlled by the bars and by our customers. So they put whatever discounts they want for food and beverage. And if they have one of the point of sale systems that we work with, like Toast and Aloha and a few others, then the whole bar can get that discount automatically. If not, the bartender has to apply it manually. They love that idea because one, it's fun. Two, for the roulette wheel spinner. Two, it's fun for everyone else because they're involved in the game and they get a nice discount. And three, they can easily, with sort of schoolboy math, figure out if Buzztime is increasing food and beverage sales. So that they love. Two, our baseball daily fantasy sports product. They love that. You all remember QB1. We're making a big splash into all sports, starting with football, daily fantasy sports. So I'm sure you've heard of DraftKings and BetMGM and all these other products that are betting products. There's no way the customer can lose money, and it's controlled by the bartender. So again, the bartender will determine prizes, but it's all for daily fantasy sports, and there's no way to lose money, and the prizes will increase food and beverage revenue. And what's great about that is it complements our trivia product, which is what is the most popular on our social media page, but is definitely not as popular in relation to poker and fantasy sports and the bingo games. That people really love those. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about, which had nothing to do with the trade shows, is the new website. We spent a lot of time on that to get it up to 2026 industry standards. We're really happy with it. This is what's called version 1.0. Of course, with these sorts of things, you're never quite done. It's not like we print a book or burn a CD. We're always making changes. But this was a big change to a whole new platform, and it integrated both the business side and the player side into one server. Related to that, we are also end-of-lifing our servers that are in California and moving them all to the Google Cloud. Everything you see now is on the Google Cloud. These old servers in California are now a backup, and pretty soon we won't need them and we'll shut them down. This will increase speed and security and stability, and allow us as a company to reduce costs. So we're really happy with that. Okay, so that is that is all I want to update you with. Bianca is our host, and Bianca, can you just go over how you want people to ask questions? And she'll be reading them, and then I will be answering them.
Yep. So if you guys have any questions, just please feel free to drop them in the chat box, and then Aram will just address them one by one. And we have our first question from Mensa J. When you say bartender control, that could be duty manager control, etc.
Yes. So I should just say customer controls. You'll have a login to a website that will be integrated into your point of sale system. And so whomever you delegate will control that. So, if you have too much of one product on Monday, and then you sell a lot of it, you can change that on Tuesday. It's just a matter of dropping and typing what you want, and then that'll work very smoothly. And we'll give you training. If you want training on it, just email account management at buzztime.com.
Okay. Do you guys have more questions? We're still
Yeah,
waiting for them. Yep.
I see Chris Harlan says, howdy, Aram. Howdy, Chris.
Yep. Now we have Chris Moran. We are still using poker now for our tournaments. Are we safe to continue there for now, or will there be an end date for using their platform?
We don't have an end date, but our poker, Buzztime Poker, which is Poker Now, was a company we partnered with and thought about making a permanent partnership, but we decided against it because we just wanted to build our own poker game in-house. Not that they're bad guys, they're good guys. So and they will be around, for as long as they are as a company, but we'd love for you to switch over, and you can, and eventually we're going to integrate it into the system, so your players will get a reward currency, and they'll get Bar Hero, and so it'll be integrated into the Buzztime network, which is why we had to build our own, because Poker Now, we weren't able to work efficiently with all of the things that we want to do with our own reward currencies and integration into the point of sale. So we invite you to get training on Buzztime Poker. If you like Buzztime, your players like Buzztime and play other games, they'll want to be rewarded and want to therefore use Buzztime Poker in-house. And so Poker Now has no obligation to us and to our customers, but for now they're being quite gentlemanly, and it's a good product. Okay, what is the next one?
Okay.
Bianca, I'll let you pick the question and speak it, and then I'll answer it.
Okay. We have a question from Althea. Is it possible to arrange a radius distance that allows us to ensure no other restaurants are using Buzztime in our immediate area?
Okay, it's yes, it depends on the radius that you have. We can get it down to 1/10 of a mile, but then sometimes that's not good for the whole venue. But anyway, that is something that we can experiment with you. It's just a matter of trial and error. So either just email an account management at buzztime.com, and then they'll arrange a call, and we'll test it out with you.
Question from Steve. How difficult is it to change the trivia recent high scores to display the most recent at the top and drop the oldest ones from the bottom?
Now that we moved, so we are a small team, and we know the leaderboards are very important to our players, and we got that done in a very basic way, and then we moved on to other more high priority projects. But we are now pretty soon going to start to look at the leaderboards, and I think what you'll see is we'll have lots of changes. I don't know if you all know, but there's a player, Don Denton is his name, who has been one of our biggest fans, and has done all sorts of work with leaderboards, and we are hosting his work right now at dondenton.ntn.com. And we're going to integrate his work into the app and into the Buzztime bar display. And it'll be really fun. So no, it's not that difficult. We just haven't touched the leaderboards for a while, but we're going to be onto them really soon, Steve. Okay, what's the next question, Bianca?
Next question is from Aram. We used to have our own NTN at our home. installed by a dish TV person and had no end of problems. We want to play again, countdown, and lunchtime. We have a private club. Is this possible?
Sure, definitely it is possible. Yes, NTN used to have to install an 8-foot satellite dish on the roof of a venue. This was before the internet, of course, before tablets. And now all we have to do is ship you a small Chrome box that is the size of an Apple TV, slightly bigger than an Apple TV. And you can just connect it to the wall or to the Wi-Fi, and you'll have all of that. So just email sales@buzztime.com or just put your email in the chat, and then we'll get you a demo, and you can have it by this week, certainly next week. Okay.
Next question from Rockabilly Ray. Buffalo Wild Wings issues with Buzztime were the boxes and the prices. Now that the boxes are gone and the prices have come down, is there a chance of getting them back as a customer? Their current trivia product is horrible.
I go to B-dubs fairly frequently, and I know it's not a Buzztime level product. Ray, your pitch is basically what my pitch is. Remember that Buzztime is now a family business, so I would love to get a B-dubs as an account, but I think we've reached stalker territory when it comes to pitching them. They have to want it, and there's some good business reasons why they don't. It's which we have counter arguments, but they like it in the app. They're doing so much with the app and their reward currency that they didn't want it to be a separate app. But we have we could work with that, but it's just a matter of then it's also the fact that they think of us as the old Buzztime, where customer service was not a priority and long-term relationships certainly were not a priority. So that's where it is. I assure you, I want B-dubs business more than you, but we can't become stalkers, and they have some good reasons to be suspicious. But we hope we can change their mind eventually. Back to you, Bianca.
Question from Chris Harlan. Are the repeat games bug being worked on?
Yes, the repeat games is being worked on. That is very frustrating. I really apologize. It's several different errors under the hood, but the result seems to be the same. It's moving from an old content management system to a new one. It's having a couple guys retire that basically kept this place, kept the old Buzztime alive through that what they call duct tape and chewing gum, and it wasn't documented. And so we were. Some people think we weren't writing new questions, but it was basically just taking. It wasn't finding the new games that we had prepared. Is the best way to, and it wasn't finding it in several different areas. So we can never say. The only thing that we're going to say that the only time we're going to say that we're done is when it's been 3 months and there's no repeat games. We're certainly trying so much, but there's just like it's one of these times where you open up one box and there's like it's a Russian nested doll system of all of these different places. But we're doing our best. So I apologize for that, but it's definitely just we're in this educated guess area. Sorry. Okay, back to you, Bianca.
All right, this one is not a question, but a comment from Steve. I recommend resetting the recent high scores at the beginning of each month. We used to pack the bar on the first of every month to be the first on the list. That's just a comment.
Yes, and I think that's a popular request. So keep those requests going, and if they're popular, and if they're common sense, we'll most likely listen to them. But never refrain from giving us constructive criticism. Okay, back to you.
Next is a tech question. When playing trivia at my local bar, I see a Buzztime Wi-Fi channel in the air. Is that something that the new tablets should connect to? Right now, even the Buzztime tablets connect via the bar's guest Wi-Fi, so all players look like they're playing from home.
I'm not, the assumption of that question, I'm not sure if it's accurate, but if that means you are at if there's a Wi-Fi channel named Buzztime, you're at a legacy bar, it would be more efficient if they are connected to that Wi-Fi channel named Buzztime, because assuming that people are using the guest Wi-Fi, because you'll have your own. But the tablets should be connected via the GPS chip. So it shouldn't make you look like you're at home, because we have quite a few bars that use the guest Wi-Fi, or even more people, with 5G, no one really cares about using data anymore. So they just use their 5G and never connect to a venue's Wi-Fi. And we know where they are. So it might be something that account management can look at for your bar. But don't worry, if you're not on Wi-Fi named Buzztime, you're still tracked on where you are. Okay, back to you, Bianca.
Question from Lisa N. As a player, what has become of our Players Plus points? Can we see them posted again in our locations?
Yeah, do you mean the all-time Player Plus points? I'm not sure what you mean, Lisa Ann. If you can give us more specifics, that would be great. Regarding reward currencies, we've come out with a new one it started for Buzztime Bets and it's coming in for trivia, called the BMO, the Buy Me One. And we're using that for rewardable currencies. So this will be the one in which you can get access to the point of sale system, of course, if the bar owner wants to do it with us. But keep that in mind and look for it for all trivia players. All right, Bianca, next.
Question from Brian. I represent the Connecticut Buzztime Trivia Vagabonds. We've talked over email a few times. We currently play at our local Elks Lodge and pay for the system ourselves and have for over a decade. I'm wondering how to add value for the X such that they would want to promote the system and hopefully take over the account. Suggestions? Secondarily, my peeps would love to see 6 go back to letting us pick the multiplayers in the final 6 round. Why did that change to a pre-selected amount?
Yes, Brian, you should, if you want to have the Elks reach out to me specifically, my email, aram@buzztime.com. Do they have poker players? Do they want to use our bingo? Do they want to do live hosted events, which is not just trivia now, it's like a Family Feud-like game and a Name That Tune-like game. There's so many games they could play that they might like that, and they aren't trivia players. Or network trivia players that we should get them going. We could also offer free sharing on social media. You can see it if you're a follower of us on Facebook. Whenever someone tags us, or almost always, we share that post. So it's a good member recruitment for Elks or any association like that. So we'd love to work with them. So email me and then I can get them training on poker and bingo and all the other games. I would love to do that. Okay, next, Bianca. Oh, sorry, Brian. So the second question about 6. So that was one of those weird things. It's a combination of technology and retirement. The game engine was on a site PC, and that was in each bar. Now we have basically all the intelligence in the Google Cloud, and we weren't able to figure out, frankly, how to do it in the cloud, having the messages come from a specific venue. So we don't have any things scheduled to fix that, but I have heard from, the diehards that they really miss that. So this is not like a leaderboard change where it's really just a query and some cosmetic work. This would be a serious amount of money I would put in. So it's not like something we can do. There always seems to be another thing that's higher priority because it's only the true diehards that want this. And so there's so many other things that, from a businessman's perspective, that I see as higher priority. But I'm not ignoring you. I hope that makes sense. Okay, back to you, Bianca.
Okay, we have a comment from Eva saying, "Thank you. We have been Players Plus since 1996. I will take a note of your email, Eva, and send it to Aram after the meeting."
Great.
And for our next question from Chris, can we add ranked averages for each individual game?
Yeah, that's going to be part of it. If you things that will be on the Buzztime bar display will be different than leaderboards that will be on your app. That's sort of, and then on the app, it's not a question of having a certain amount of time-based real estate. It could go on for infinite, of course. So I think we'll have, these sort of more niche-oriented leaderboards within the app, and you could dig into it as much as you want. Hopefully, I know you guys have been asking about leaderboards a lot, and hopefully you can see how I'm trying to sequence everything, and the website and moving everything to Google, and previously getting everything onto the Chromebox were higher priority. But leaderboards are really one of the driving forces of, I think, a lot of people. So we want to figure out how to slice and dice that data in a real fun way, and it's just queries and front end cosmetic work. So we'll be doing that soon, and we are selling this. We call it the bots, the Buzztime old timer system, for home use. Remember that it's the same price as for venue use. But one of the benefits that you get is being part of a beta group. And I know Chris really cares about this. So we're going to start, we haven't reached out to them yet for it, but we will be reaching out to more. So you'll be able to influence it very soon. Okay, back to you, Bianca.
All right, next question we have is from Thomas. Do you plan to restore the listings of showdown categories, topics, and playback headliners? And if so, when?
Yes. That was one of those things we, frankly, I don't even know why I forgot why the guys didn't start putting those on there. So Thomas, Tom, I'll get back to you on that. It should be fairly soon.
All right, question from Harry Sykes. Is there an end-of-life date for Silver Site Hub sites?
There is not a specific date, but it will be this year, I would say. And then that is the most obvious because the benefit to the customer is quite clear. They get many more games. Some of them are, and they're being hesitant to do that, but it will be very soon.
Next question is from Eva. Why have the bars and restaurants in the Nashville area have dwindled to zero?
I do not know. The company had some serious issues, and there still are some major cities like Nashville that have dwindled to zero. We are starting a distribution group that we think will be a great little business. So if you or someone you know is a person or a small business that supplies jukeboxes, billiards tables, video games to bars and restaurants, they should reach out to us at sales@buzztime.com. Buzztime is a nice little add-on to that business, and we offer a great commission on it. And Eva, also for if you are just a player and you recommend a bar in the Nashville area, we offer a $250 commission which we would like you to spend as a bar tab on the customer that you refer us to, but you can spend it on anything you want. So feel free to refer us to a Nashville bar. We just need a name of the person in charge as well as the name of the bar, and we'll cut you that check if we deal. And it's a great deal for them as well, because they know they're going to get a customer that at least spends $250 on them, and probably someone will be loyal throughout. And remember, these guys only have to break even at $6 or $7 in food in a beer revenue per day on it. Okay, back to you, Eva. Back to you, Bianca.
All right, Aram. We have a comment from Steve. For the future, consider creating a way for groups from different bars to communicate. We have friendly competition between many of the other lunchtime trivia locations in the East. Buzztime doesn't appear to facilitate that in any way.
Yes, that is one of those things I mentioned, sequencing different projects and prioritizing them. We have an idea of chat and DMing and that sort of thing, like on other platforms, and we'll get there eventually, no doubt.
All right. Another comment from Brian. After each game, the network rankings used to only show one player per side. Now it has as many as 10 to 12 from one side, washes, etc. Any chance of going back to the old way?
Yes, I think that's one of those. I mentioned we always listen to constructive criticism and then follow it if, it helps to have the volume of critiques, but also if it just plainly makes sense. And that obviously makes sense. So yeah, that's one of the changes you'll see. And so you can ask, or you can maybe a follow-up thought you might have is, so that seems like a simple one. So why don't they just do it? We just want to commit all from a efficiency point of view. We just have this idea of leadership project, and that's going to ramp everything. And we're just waiting to commit the man hours for this leadership project. And that'll be one of the things that will change.
All right, another one from Brian. We have the new Chromebooks. I've yet to see a Wi-Fi specifically for Buzztime. Is that available? The Wi-Fi at the Alice can be spotty, so we typically just use cellular data.
It is. So that's sort of a follow-up on Eva's question. But old Buzztime would charge a lot more, and then they would send its own router. We don't do that anymore because we charge a lot less, and routers are ubiquitous. And this way it could be a self-install, so that makes the install much quicker. And like you say, a lot of people are using their cellular anyway. So the real answer is that, and also remember, a lot of times they would just slice and dice the error and give a certain amount to Buzztime and then a certain amount to guest. So the same amount of error, the same amount of capacity is still available, is always available. So we don't do that now. But everyone should have an all-you-can-eat 5G by now. No one should be charging. No one should be having their cell phone company charge them incrementally for data. Okay, back to you, Bianca.
All right, another one from Steve. Finally, we are aware that the 11 noon lunchtime people are mostly in Florida, and we are old farts. Ask more old guy questions. We can't hack the current pop culture questions.
Okay, that's always a balancing act, because if you ever try and even ask a young guy who Larry Bird was, they don't know who it is. So we have to figure out how to balance the old guys to getting the new bloods used to playing trivia. So we'll do our best, though. Thank you.
Next question from Lisa. As a player, do our overall accumulated players plus points mean anything anymore on the new platform?
Yes, we're not getting rid of player plus points. We're just starting a new currency. So everyone who tracks player plus points will, with trivia, will still be able to keep doing that, and they'll be part of the leaderboards as well. Bianca, back to you.
Okay, a comment from Eva. That's why we hope you expand your business model to include homes and clubs. Aram, they won't pay the high rent anymore. They do not break even.
Yes, we have some ideas on how to finally break the home market. Old Buzztime had experimented with it, and there are things in trends in technology that will enable us to try that again. I think we'll be able to finally crack that code. At the same time, and that was the technological trends. At the same time, our customer base doesn't want to compete against home markets. So we have to find a way to make it benefit them to have home customers. And that's going to be our special sauce. And so we'll be rolling that out. And I think everyone will be super duper happy with the result.
Okay, so Lisa posted the same question according to the accumulated player plus points, but added that currently they are not published anywhere except on the Buzztime website where you can, I think it's not finished sentence.
Yeah.
Let me just, okay.
Yes, we will be, Lisa, and we will be working, getting player plus points to be displayed as many places as we can in a common sense way. We're ready to take on that leaderboard project very soon. Back to you, Bianca.
All right. From Harry Sykes. The recent high scores for all games beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time reflect the next day instead of the current date. I opened a ticket a couple months ago because it was also happening for the sports game and they fixed that, but games starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time were not fixed.
Okay. Do me a favor, open another ticket for that, Harry. I missed that. And that's the sort of constructive criticism and attention to detail that we love from our bar buddies. So yeah, just email support@buzztime.com and CC me and we'll be on it. Back to you, Bianca. Bianca, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry, Aram. Okay, the question from Mensa at Steve. Ask for another iteration or possible repeat of Glory Days to run in your target time slot, perhaps as an optional B game.
Okay, I think that was just a comment to Steve, Mensa.
Okay. All right, we have another one from Eva. A comment from Eva says, excellent on the home market. As long as we keep our PP plus points and they accumulate, looking forward to it.
Great.
We just have a bunch of comments. Another one from Steve. Yeah. At Mensa J, we're too lazy and dumb to change our lunchtime habits, but thanks for the recommendation. This one is a question, okay, from Thomas. Do you have any official Buzztime tournaments planned?
We are coming up with an idea for a real-life tournament for Buzztime Poker. We also have an idea of doing some sort of real-life trivia tournament. We can't do an online tournament, or you guys can do it because you know everyone and they'll live by their honor. But trivia is really easy to cheat these days with AI and Apple Watches, and so we're not going to do a serious trivia tournament that's just online because we've had some problems with cheating, of course. So we are most definitely going to do a Buzztime real life poker tournament. And then from there, we'll most likely do a real life trivia tournament. So we started looking into the poker tournament. The trivia tournament will probably copy that model, but we'll have regional areas probably divided, you divide US and Canada into 5 or 6 regions at a hotel with Buzztime equipment. And then have a final somewhere at someplace prestigious. So we're going to start with poker. Poker is a big business for Buzztime. with no money. It's what they like, what we do with fantasy sports. No one's going to lose a penny. It's just, it's skill, and will increase people's food and beverage. And if we can have a real life tournament, that'll increase the food and beverage, because people will love that. And they'll do it for the pride of their bar, and hopefully bring back a trophy. Okay, back to you, Bianca.
All right, question from Brian. Probably a long shot, given the new cloud infrastructure as opposed to the old PC-based servers. With the playmakers, we used to be able to override the current and future games and play countdown instead. We use it all the time to skip sports, as an example. Will there eventually be a measure functions type of functionality like that in the app?
Yeah, it is a long shot. I haven't been asked that. Yeah, like that would be a real, like for the real true diehards. The goal for Buzztime, and from a businessman's perspective, hopefully you can understand, is getting new people. So while I have to, I love your ideas, but sometimes they're probably going to hit too small of a target audience. And so I wouldn't want to commit man hours to it. And so bluntly speaking, I don't think I'd make money on that idea. So keep up the ideas, Brian, but I'll probably pass on that one. All right, back to you, Bianca.
Next question. Can we get tablets in lieu of cell phones? Some of us orphans are visually impaired.
Yes, that's up to the venue owner. So we have a basic plan that we call BYOD, bring your own device. That's $199 per month. And then a tablet basically costs $10 per month per tablet. So the next one is $249, and you get everything plus 5 tablets, and then $299, you get everything plus 10 tablets. And they could also, of course, use their own tablets. These are just apps on the App Store. So if a player can bring his own tablet, or a bar can use his own tablet, and not pay us. And the difference is we have security software on it, and then we also provide games for the kids, like coloring books and fun games like that. And we give space for the digital menu. But yeah, if the player just wants a tablet, he or she can just bring their own tablet. And then the bar doesn't have to pay us any extra money, and you still get to see it on the big screen. Okay, back to you, Bianca.
All right, question from Harry. The recent high scores in the games beginning at 8 p.m. only show results for the past month. Can this be expanded to show the top 20 recent high scores, as is the case for the lunchtime and countdown games?
Yeah, we'll figure out, how to do that. Whether it's the most recent month or the 20 most recent high scores, we'll figure that out as part of the leaderboard project.
All right, another question from Lisa. Using the new tablets, is there a way to change a sign-in name from a guest ID with a number to a personalized name in order just to play a game or two?
Well, then you'd just have to create an account. That's on anything. So if you're just using a guest account, you can't do that. You would just have to create an account, and then you'd get to create a personalized name.
Next one, in the new system, flat blue pads and 5G devices running the app, will Showdown players ever be able to vote for categories again in the category round?
We have nothing planned on it. That's one of those, that would take a lot of man hours. So we have many more projects ahead of that, that we think will be real game changers. So we have nothing planned, but we've definitely heard your hopes for that. Back to you, Bianca.
All right, a comment from Chris. Aram, I missed what you said about getting 20 different venue scores instead of several from the same.
We will most likely limit the amount of players from one venue on the leaderboards.
All right, I think this would be the last comment from Eva. Aram, thank you so much for this meeting. We have another meeting in another city. Thank you all. Thank you, Eva.
Okay, great. So if there aren't any other questions, I really appreciate. Oh, is there?
Yep, I think we have more, Aram. From
Okay.
Harry. Okay, from Harry. On Saturday nights, a countdown game airs between sports trivia at 7:30 Eastern Time and playback at 8:30. Can a new game be inserted?
Yes, we are going to come up with new games. I'm not sure when we're going to have them, but the schedule will be changing finally, and you'll see some new trivia games that I think will appeal to the Buzztime fanatics as well as some newbies.
All right, another question. We used to get a showdown on Friday nights. That's what drew our group together. Is there any way to get that back?
I'm not sure about that. We're going to be changing the schedule, and even if we haven't changed in quite some time, but I'm not sure if we're going to put showdown on Friday. Back to you, Bianca.
All right, one question from Lisa. Even though it's an evil game, it is also fun. So any thoughts of bringing back Wipeout?
That was not popular, so probably not. And sorry, I see Brian, and Speed Freaks was not that popular either. But what I think will happen is we'll come up with new games, brand new games. That's really what we're focused on. We need to get Buzztime into 2026. You'll see games with imagery, with memes, with emojis, with that will be fun for the old timers and bring in the newbies. That's the goal for all of these. So it's not to look backwards, but to think of what we can do that hasn't been done before. Okay, great. So this has been great. The questions have been really productive. Thank you, Steve. And we will have another AMA in a month. And meanwhile, if you can tell, I'm checking out the Facebook Buzztime page. You can always go on there, and I'm on Bad Bart as well. We really love your constructive criticism, both in its grand elements and in its very detailed, specific points. So keep it all coming. Doesn't mean that I'll listen to it all, because as you know, hopefully I explained, I got to get the volume of it. It's got to make common sense, and it's got to be a good business move. But always know that you're being listened to. I want to hear it all. So hopefully I'll speak to you all next month. Thanks so much. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks, Bianca. Bye-bye.
Thank you.